Welcome. So if you're a PIPFA or DOO candidate studying for your exams or, just someone fascinated by the nuts and bolts of public sector finance, you are in exactly the right place. Today's explainer is basically your master blueprint for tackling Chapter 1 of the Financial Audit Manual, or the FAM as we call it. We're going to break down the text, map out these core concepts, and show you exactly what your future role in the public sector is going to look like. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's our roadmap. We're starting macro with the purpose and mandate, then we'll hit vision, mission, and values. After that, we zoom into the micro details of the regularity audit, and finally walk step by step through the systematic audit cycle. Section 1. Purpose and mandate. Basically, why we audit the government in the first place. As a future public sector auditor stepping into this really critical role, your PIPFA prep is training you for something way bigger than just crunching numbers. You're actually preparing to safeguard public trust. The whole purpose of the audit manual is to give you a set of modern, internationally consistent standards to evaluate entities across the entire government of Pakistan. The official weight of the role you're taking on is immense. Your authority isn't just some corporate policy. It is mandated directly by Article 169 of the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan. That gives you incredible jurisdiction and responsibility over the accounts of the Federation, the provinces, and the districts. The FAM explicitly tells us that accountability of elected officials and public servants is literally a cornerstone of democratic government. That word, accountability, is the thematic thread that weaves through this entire manual. And honestly, it's going to weave through your entire career. You are the mechanism, ensuring the government's administrative machinery actually aligns with the laws and the aspirations of the people, ultimately reporting your findings straight to the public accounts committees. Moving on to Section 2, Vision, Mission, and Values, understanding the core identity of the DAGP. Now, what's really interesting here is this classic exam trap. You've got to differentiate these two concepts. The vision is your ultimate overarching goal, to add value to public resources. But the mission, that's the operational goal. It's the how-to, to develop capabilities and promote good governance. Definitely keep those distinct in your mind when you sit for your exams. So that brings us to a really vital question. What values actually define a DAGP auditor? When you're out there in the field, navigating these massive, complex financial systems and interviewing entity management, what are the ethical standards holding you accountable?
Well, the manual lists 11 core values in total, but let's distill them down to the absolute critical highlights: accountability, professionalism, integrity, excellence, reliability, and open communications. The FAM explicitly states that the legislative authority, the public, and the audited entities expect your conduct to be completely above suspicion and reproach at all times. Your integrity, whether financial, moral, or intellectual, must be absolute.
All right, Section 3, the Regularity Audit. Let's look at the practical operations. Let's demystify some of the jargon here. A regularity audit is an examination defined by INTOSI standards. That's the International Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions, whose global standards the DAGP has officially adopted. This audit focuses heavily on financial accountability, compliance, and internal controls. The goal? To make absolutely sure the government's budget and accounts are complete, valid, and fully transparent. So the crucial point here is that regularity isn't just about the math, right? It's not just checking if the debits equal the credits. As we break down these components, sure, you're attesting to financial accountability, but you're also checking compliance with statutes, you're looking at the probity, meaning the honesty and propriety of administrative decisions, and auditing the entity's internal controls. You are verifying that the money was spent exactly as Parliament intended. Section 4. The Systematic Audit Cycle, the step-by-step process. Let's move along and see how this all builds. There are 5 exact stages to this cycle: planning, fieldwork, evaluation, reporting, and follow-up. An efficient, effective audit depends entirely on following this exact systemic flow. You literally cannot skip a step, and you definitely cannot rush them. Stage 1 is planning. This is where your blueprint is drawn. You'll establish your audit objectives, deeply understand the business of the entity you're auditing, and assess both risk and materiality. Because remember, no entity should be audited more than once a year. So most of your critical decisions, including budget and allocating your resources, have to happen right here before you ever set foot in the field. Next, we combine the execution phases, stages 2 and 3, fieldwork and evaluation. During fieldwork, you're actually out there collecting reliable, relevant evidence and executing that detailed audit program you just planned. Then, in evaluation, you use your professional judgment to conclude on your findings. You aren't just spotting errors, you are analyzing them to determine the root cause and exactly how severe those errors are. Stage 4 is reporting. This is where you clear your observations, obtain written management responses and representation letters, and finally issue the actual audit opinion. Your reporting absolutely must be incredibly thorough and transparent. You're producing a high-quality product that has to be timely, accurate, and candid for the legislature to review. And finally, stage 5, follow up. This brings the whole thing full circle. The manual states this beautifully, and it's a concept you should really take to heart. Quote, "The auditor's objective is not fulfilled unless any errors or deficiencies have been corrected. It's not just about finding a mistake in the paperwork. It's about making sure the system actually gets fixed." As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a thought to reflect on as you hit the books. How will your daily diligence as an auditor not just uncover financial discrepancies, but actually drive the engine of a better, more accountable democratic government? Keep that in mind, keep studying hard, and we'll catch you in the next explainer.